Okay, the camera cut off, and I kind of thought, well, maybe I should, stop it here and not read the rest of it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go ahead and read the rest of it to you. That way, you'll already know. And if you want to just watch half of it, you can watch half of it and put yourself in suspension. I won't do that to you. Put your own self in suspense. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read chapter 5, and it's called The Adventure. One day, as she was looking at her reflection in some water and thinking about the bullies and her differences, Super Gid came running up to her, chattering with extreme excitement and some great news to share. There's Super Gid. You can't really see it. Like I said, I'll post these pictures afterwards, but they're actually in the book, so but I'll post them on there for you. Come with me somewhere. He wouldn't tell her where they were going. He would only say that he found out something wonderful worth knowing. Oh, and that to get to where they were going, they would have to swim. What? Wait. Penny was in mid-frantic response when she ran into her brothers, Donovan, Clyde Jr., and Brim. You know I can't swim, Gid Raccoon. I'm too small. Gid acted as though he didn't hear her at first, and instead greeted her brothers. Good morning. How are y'all? But Penny Petunia was in too much of a panicky verbal rant and was not going to continue to anywhere, so Gid picked her up and put her on his back and said, You can ride across the river right there. Penny Petunia Possum, her brothers Donovan, Clyde Jr., Brim, and Super Gid, and Hiram, the raccoons, were off on their way to somewhere mysterious, and Gid was the only one who knew where the place was at. They made it safely across the river, and Penny Petunia didn't even get wet at all on Gid's back, where she frighteningly sat. She held on as tight as she could, and she closed her eyes as closed as they could close. Halfway across, Donovan scared them all when he started sneezing and coughing behind them, but he said that he was okay. He just got some water up his nose. So here's a picture of them. It's a picture of her floating on his back. I know these are hard to see. Let's see. So he started sneezing and coughing, had water up his nose. They all teased Donovan and laughed about it when they were safe on the other side. Penny Petunia complimented Gid and thanked him for the splendid boat ride. They all laughed hysterically as they shook themselves off and rolled around in the grass to dry. Well, except Penny Petunia. She just laid down on her back and stared up at the sky. This might not be such a great idea right now, Penny Petunia said. Look at the storm clouds moving in, she added, pointing overhead. Oh, don't worry, we're going into a deep tunnel system, but we'd better hurry. The entrance isn't very far from here. They ran towards where the entrance was because it was starting to thunder and lightning very near. As they entered the tunnel system entrance, they had to stop for a little minute to let their eyes adjust to the deep, dark underground. They had explored and played in many tunnel systems before, but this one was different in some way. The surrounding floor, walls, and ceiling was much more dusty and gray. Gid explained that this was a tunnel through an area that had burned in a forest fire last year. He cautiously said, It's a little bit unstable and dangerous down here. Just be careful and stay together. At least we're safe from the stormy weather. But he and Penny Petunia and her 3 brothers were about to find out something that Gid didn't know. Part of the tunnel system sometimes flooded in the river when the river overflowed. And wouldn't you know it, that storm had started upriver earlier in the day. Now all the extra rainwater was unknowingly coming downriver, headed their way. Penny explained that it sounded like something giant coming towards them from the direction they were going. She said it sounded like a very strong river flowing. She said she thought that they should go back. Suddenly they saw in the distance something dark black. It was coming towards them very fast, and they could now hear it too. Gid looked above them, and he somewhat calmly said that it was okay. He knew exactly what to do. None of them made a sound or moved at all. They clung to the sycamore tree roots and watched the deadly muddy water wall. It flowed and flowed beneath them. Once it seemed to jump up into the roots and almost took Brim. Finally it started to calm down, and they could once again hear each other talking. Gid hugged Penny Petunia and said that if she had not heard the water when she did, they would have kept on walking. Her brothers all hugged her too. And there's a little picture right there of them hanging from the tree roots. Donovan said, "Penny, we would probably have all died if not for you." They all hugged her again and then hugged each other. As Clyde Jr. hugged Brim, he said, "I thought for sure you were a goner, brother. I'm glad we didn't lose you." Brim answered, "Me too." Penny Petunia said that she was glad that Gid didn't panic and almost immediately saw a safe place to go. By the time they had finished discussing and celebrating their survival and hugging, the water was almost all gone from the ground below. They stayed among the roots just a little longer to be sure it was safe to continue on their way. Gid told them that they were very close to the place they were headed, and he said he thought they could make it okay. So they climbed down, of course, thanking the life-saving sycamore tree roots. Penny Petunia said she sure wished that she had on her pretty pink rain boots. Gid took it as a hint and scooped her up and put her on his back to ride. Brim jokingly said that he couldn't believe all she could think about was getting muddy feet after they had all almost died. They all chuckled and jokingly agreed. "We're almost there," Gid announced as he anxiously picked up speed. As they went around the next corner and up a very high steep slope, they entered a side tunnel that went into an area of little pod-like rooms. Inside each room was a pile of deer moss, pine cones, and pieces of various lichens and mushrooms. They went down a very narrow tunnel to the last pod-like room on the right. Through a small hole in the ceiling shone a ray of sunlight. In the corner was a pile of soft green grass being used as a bed. From where they were standing, they could only see 2 tiny ears and part of the back of some kind of critter's head. Gid told the 3 possum brothers to stay at the door. He said if they all went in at once, they would startle the poor creature for sure. He then took Penny Petunia off of his back and placed her on the ground. He sat up and put his front paws on her shoulders and told her not to be too shocked at this wonderful treasure that he had found. She shook her head in agreement and whispered okay. He told her not to be upset, and he asked her not to react until she had heard everything that the still sleeping creature had to say. She agreed again, though she couldn't imagine what she was about to see or hear. She couldn't imagine what she was even doing there. They very quietly and slowly neared the bed. Penny Petunia froze in shock and disbelief and wonder all at the same time when the creature lifted up its head. It pushed the big sycamore tree leaf it was using for cover down. Penny Petunia could see clearly that she and the creature had the same head and even the same splotches of brown. It smiled and twitched its nose and screeched, and then it let out a squeal, just like Penny Petunia always did. "I can't believe it, Super Gid. You have brought her to see me. Hi, my darling Penny." Penny Petunia couldn't move or say a word, and neither could her brothers, watching from the door. They were all surprised and shocked for sure. What do you think so far? You think you know what Penny Petunia Possum might be? Why she's so different? Chapter 6. The Explanation and Acceptance. Slowly Penny Petunia made her way to the bed. She stood up and put her hand on the brown splotches on her look-alike creature's head. She asked her very softly, "Who are you? Why do I look like you do?" She smiled and nodded silently for a few seconds, then she said, "I will tell you why you look like me. You will know everything if you'll let me tell you a little story." Penny Petunia sat down beside the bed on the soft green grass floor. She motioned to the brothers to come on in from the door. So they did. They came over and gathered around the bed alongside Gid. She told them that she and her husband had lived their whole life together in a wooden house with these odd creatures called a man and a woman and their young child. They stayed in a big glass box called an aquarium until one day the man brought them and their very young newly born daughter here and left them in the wild. She said that soon after they arrived here, they were out searching for food across the river and she became ill. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My name is Bella and my husband's name is Will. She went on to explain that a bad storm came up and they were washed away by high water. Will sadly disappeared, but she and their young daughter, Jenny, were saved by a nice mama otter. She said that she passed out and she was so sick that the otter thought surely she would die, especially after a couple of days that had gone by. I didn't wake up or get any better at all, and the otter knew she had to keep tiny little Jenny from dying too. She thought and thought and thought again about what she should do. She knew that it was the time of year for the mama possums to be having babies. She thought, well, maybe, just maybe. She decided that what she was thinking about would probably be okay, so she took little Jenny to Micklemuck Swamp the next day. Here's the nice little otter, little mommy otter. She went to the first possum house she found and knocked on the door. When she knocked, the door opened on its own, so she thought no one lived there anymore. But the door opened wide enough that the otter could see a possum asleep on the couch. She tried and tried and tried to wake the possum up, but she couldn't, so she decided to slip the frail little Jenny into the mother possum's pouch. She knew it was the only chance little Jenny had, and surely when the mama possum saw adorable little baby, she couldn't possibly be mad. She was so young and small, it was a life or death situation after all. So the otter slipped little Jenny into the possum's pouch and went out through the door. She said that before the otter got back home, she had left because she wasn't feeling sick anymore. But she was dizzy and couldn't remember anything. She said she wandered around completely lost and confused until she ran into the otter again that spring. The otter recognized her right away. The otter explained everything that happened that fateful late winter day. The otter told her about the storm and the flood washing her right into her den at the bottom of the hill. That's when I remembered Will. I remembered that he had disappeared. Then I mentioned my tiny baby, and I asked the otter about what I most feared. She said the otter told her what she did and that she was sure everything turned out okay. But I had to know for sure, so we went to Micklemuck Swamp the next day. When we got to the possum's house, I saw you there with your possum mommy and daddy and brothers. I saw how happy and healthy you were, and I knew that I could not be as good of a mother. I had lost everything I had. I had even lost your dad. So I decided to leave you there with your possum family. But I stayed close for a while where I could hear and see. Then one day I decided to try and find a place across the river to live out my days. So I found this place. It must have been destiny because a few days later your father miraculously found me. I told him all about you. We decided leaving you where you were was the best thing to do. But yesterday Gideon found his way here and found me and Will. He told us about the mean bullies and how they make you feel. He said he knew you would like to know where you came from and why you look and sound the way you do. Will and I agreed, so Good went back across the river to get you. Bella explained that Penny Petunia was a guinea pig. A guinea pig. And for her species, she was pretty big. She told her everything she had ever wondered about. She told her that she was very proud of the way that she had turned out. Just as she finished talking, Will came in the door. When Penny Petunia saw him, she knew he was her birth dad for sure. She looked even more like him, though she very much favored both of them. There's a picture of them. There's another one. That's Penny Petunia. They spent most of the day getting to know each other. They promised that when Bella got to feeling better, they would come visit and meet her opossum father and mother. When they said goodbye and left, Penny Petunia felt so happy and proud. All the way home she talked and laughed, and a few times she squealed really loud. "We guinea pigs are smart and beautiful," she proudly said. Brother Donovan patted her gently on top of her head. "I think those bullies are in for quite a surprise the next time they mess with you. There's no telling what you might do." Penny smiled and said she wouldn't do anything at all. She said she didn't care what they said about her, because for her species she was very beautiful and tall. She said, "Knowing what I am and where I came from made me realize something today. They're just confused and they don't understand, and that's why they say the things that they say. But I now know the truth about my different looks and why I have no tail, and in time they and everyone else will know my tail as well." When they got home, Penny Petunia told the rest of the family the story about the day. Clyde said that they would go across the river as soon as possible and bring Bella and Will home with them to stay. Penny Petunia was happier than she had ever been before. It was getting late, so Good said bye to them all, and Penny Petunia walked him to the door. She hugged him super duper tight. They thanked each other for the events of the day, then hugged once more and told each other good night. So there you go. There's Penny Petunia Possum. It's the back of the book. So there's the Penny Petunia Possum. It's Telltale. And now a lot more people know about Penny Petunia's tail and why she doesn't have one. So I hope you liked it. Like I said, I just decided I'd go ahead and read one of my books. The two others you can find on my author's page. If you look this one up, you can find my other ones. I write under Melody A, Melody, capital A, and you can find it there. And I have some more books coming out soon. I'm actually right now working on a book with chapters, so I'll just be putting chapters at a time on there and test that out and see how that goes. Everybody can read chapters in it. I can charge a little less for those chapters. Of course, after you pay for each chapter, you've paid for, but I don't know. I'll probably release it as a book also, as a hardcover or softcover book, the whole complete thing. But I think I'm going to do the chapter thing and try to see how that works out. So if you want to check out my books, like I said, go to Kindle and look it up, check me out, see what you think. I'll probably go ahead and read the other two books to you eventually too, maybe. And that way if you have little kids or something like that and you want them to listen to a story and you don't really feel like reading it, you can just let them watch my video. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you watched it, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, like I said, go ahead and subscribe because I will have some more coming out soon. And if this is the first video of mine that you've ever watched, I have a lot of other stuff on here, a lot of random stuff. And I guess that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, wonderful night. And once again, thanks for watching. And God bless all of you. And remember that you are very, very important. And I appreciate you very much if you have listened to this and liked it. And if you'd like to leave me a comment, if you think it was terrible, let me know. If you think it was good, let me know. If you think whatever you think about it, let me know. I love to read comments and see what people think. And yeah, I guess that's it. like I said, right now Kindle has a really good thing going on where you can get 2 months free reading for free. And then I guess if you like it, then you can join or whatever. I don't know exactly how it all works completely. But also, I think if you purchase my book, I have it on sharing. So if you purchase it, you can actually share it with other people too, and they can read it. I wanted to do it that way so more people could read it. And like I said, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed me reading it to you. I kind of mess up on my own writing sometimes when I'm rereading it, so thanks for bearing with me. And I really, really do appreciate every single one of you. So I will go ahead and get this video edited and get it put on there so you guys can listen to my story. And like I said, I'll put the illustrations at the end of the video. I got to go over here and give Shaggy some attention. He's kind of, he might be a little bit spoiled, you know, but he is almost 19 years old, so I guess he deserves to be spoiled. So, alright you guys, thanks for watching. I love you all, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.